Hello, friends, my beautiful community. Welcome to AstroloTea. I'm your host and spiritual friend, Aliza Kelly, and I am so excited to have you here because guess what, divas? I have a real human being here, and you know her. You love her. It's Grace Helbig.
Yay!
So Grace is famous on YouTube. She's a CelebriTEA. You may know her as one of the original stars of the platform. You may also know her from her 2 New York Times best-selling books. You may also know her from her award-winning series or her hit podcast, This Might Get Weird, or from her sold-out live shows. But do you really know her? Do you know what makes her tick? Do you know what she thinks about at night? Do you know what her deepest fears and greatest aspirations are? Let's find out. Grace.
Oh my God. Hi. What an intro.
What an intro.
Wow.
It's a tea party.
It is.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. This is our first time meeting IRL, too.
I know, but it doesn't feel like that.
No,
it
absolutely. I was like, I had to remind myself that we hadn't met actually in person before.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yes, but it's long time coming.
Yes.
And of course it's for tea.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I love what you're wearing.
Thank you so much. This whole thing?
Yeah. Can you tell us about it?
Well, absolutely. Obviously, these are some very vintage accoutrements.
Gorgeous.
That, I believe came from an ancestor.
Mm.
One. But we'll probably find out who.
Ooh, yes.
At some point.
Maybe they're here.
She probably is. She loves to float around.
I also
me.
love how you're tilting up how
Thank
you sort
you.
of like fedora'd it.
I feel very like Carmen Sandiego right now.
Yeah, I mean,
where in the world?
It looks beautiful.
Thank
I'm
you.
so glad that you're here.
Me too.
So when we have a tea party, we also have to find out what they want us to talk about.
Yes.
They being the cards, the tea, the other tea, the tarot tea.
Yes, absolutely.
So I am going to pull a card for us so that we can see like what's the vibe,
Okay.
what's the energy, what's the story that we need to really be getting into.
Love that.
I also say this thing called tank, which is there are no coincidences. So oftentimes the card that we pull, we're pulling because it's going to be this little narrative that we circle back to again and again and again.
Okay.
So I'm going to divide the deck into 3. Ooh, that was a beautiful sound. And you tell me which one, another beautiful sound, which one we should work with.
I'm going to go here.
Gorgeous. So let's see, Grace, what's the card? What's the story? What's the tea? Give it to me. Ooh, 5 of Pentacles.
All right.
She's struggling.
Oh!
Not you.
Oh.
Her. It's so this card depicts 2 people. So it's 5 is the middle point of the story. We have been working our way through some sort of a narrative, some sort of a journey. And when we get to 5, the midpoint, we're sort of assessing where we are, what's happening, what's going on. 5 of Pentacles is sort of like a sad winter scene.
Oh.
2 people beat up,
Yes.
pulling themselves forward, don't even see that there's this gorgeous warm light coming in from this window. They're just like, I'm out in the cold.
Okay.
I'm out here in the cold. So when we pull this card, it usually is indicative of feeling sort of like, how are we feeling valued? How are we feeling like we are being seen and received for our full potential?
Okay.
Maybe we feel like we are not being seen and received for our full potential. Maybe we feel like we are like we're out in the cold, being like, nobody gets me, nobody understands, on both like a material level, but also just like energetically and this feeling of like, how do I make sure that I am getting my worth?
Yeah.
Grace, does this resonate?
Yeah, definitely. There's like chapters closing and kind of like a, you could say, cold abyss in front of me of possibility.
This is cold abyss.
Yeah, and so it does
we
feel
love a cold abyss.
resonant. I also I just have a big writing project that I haven't like hibernated myself away to just do. And so that's kind of like what I'm up against
I
right
see.
now.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So I can see that resonating in both of those worlds.
Yeah, there's this feeling of sort of just like this essence of being a little bit feeling unmoored, if you will.
Yeah, I'm very
Yes.
much in a, okay, what's next
Yeah.
sort of vibe.
Which is not a bad way to feel, but liminal spaces are hard. But
Ugh, liminal spaces.
You know them very well, and we're going to get right into that now.
Great, let's do it.
Okay, so Grace, you are a Libra sun.
I am.
What is the most Libra thing about you?
I am so radically indecisive. It is painful. I hate making decisions. One of my love languages is like when someone else makes decisions for me. But things I do, I either have extreme clarity about something and I feel very strongly about something, or I just need someone else to figure it out for me. So I think that's the most Libra thing. I really want everyone to be seen. Like I have a very, the quietest person in the room I'm sometimes drawn to because I feel like they often get overlooked, and I have kind of a penchant for trying to make people feel seen equally, the balance, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you are someone who, it's like if someone's really extroverted, you'll be more of the fly on the wall, or if someone is really like fly on the wall, you'll be like, ba, 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 party, party.
Yeah, I think I do adapt to find the balance of energy in those situations where I am a little bit more reserved around people that are more extroverted, and I think I'm more extroverted around people that are more reserved.
Yeah.
And I think that's been kind of the confusing thing for people about my like career, that I'm very much an introvert, or I guess maybe even like an outrovert, whatever the new
What's
category.
that?
There's a new category.
Tell me.
I believe it's called outrovert.
I'll
but
take it, yeah.
Google it, where it's people that are very introverted, but like either work or operate in extroverted fields. So people have always been confused when I tell them how introverted I am, because, on paper, I look like I'm in a very like I'm out in the world type of entertainment work field. But now, this new category feels very resonant, where it's like, oh yeah, I can be extroverted when I need to be,
right,
but it's not my preference.
I'm glad that they're expanding some of these verts, because
Right.
I feel like the verts are so limiting.
Yeah.
And it's like it doesn't take into account like vibe,
Right.
atmosphere,
Yes.
whether you're with people who you know, whether you're with strangers, like
Yes.
how you actually like fit into these different environments.
Yeah, and I've always felt that I didn't fully fit the definition of introvert because I, in certain social situations, felt very comfortable and very open and did a lot of performance-based sort of media. So it didn't always feel appropriate. And now that we've sort of made another one, I'm like, okay.
Well, we need more than we need more than 3. We need to keep them coming.
Let's get the spectrum going.
We do. I know that there's like an ambivert, which is like a switchy switch. Actually, astrology is speaking to all of those different pieces. Mm-hmm. And we're going to get into it.
Yay.
The next thing I want to talk about is the fact that you have a Virgo Venus and a Virgo Mars. Do you know anything about these?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't, actually. This is maybe the first time I'm hearing this.
Oh my God, T. So Virgo, Venus, Virgo, Mars. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about what Venus and Mars mean for a moment.
Yeah.
So Venus is your values. It's what you care about. It's how you appreciate things. It's how you also feel appreciated. Mm-hmm. And then Mars is how you take action. Mm-hmm. It's how you thrust into things. I like to say that Mars is like Austin Powers jumbo jet. It's giving like 1960s masculinity on a good day.
Okay.
On a bad day, toxic masculinity. But like all of us have a little feral, roided out bro deep within.
Of course.
We need it,
Yes.
you know? I also have a Virgo Mars, so our roided out bros are also roided out nerds. Mm-hmm. More than they are like pumping iron. They are trying to consume as much knowledge as possible. But Virgo is the sign that is like very famously hard on itself.
Critical.
Yeah. Perfectionistic.
Yeah. That's a big, problem for me.
Yeah. So I'm curious how you may find yourself in these perfectionistic loops.
Yeah.
And then for our friends who also share Virgo placements, like what do you do to get out of them? How do you get yourself moving when you're feeling like you're sort of trapped in the cycle?
My inner critic has been one of the biggest things that I've discovered about myself in my adult life and that I continue to work on. I have this tarot reader that I've seen for like 10 years. And at one point she told me she had pulled either like one of the arcana or other cards where it's like, these are the fixed things about you in your personality. She's like, you will always sort of grapple with this inner critic, and you will just have to learn how to coexist with it in a way that's helpful and not hurtful.
Yeah.
And that's been a really empowering thing of knowing that it's kind of always there. I used to think it was like a good thing because I got so much work done. There was a period of my life where I made so much freaking content. It is still unbelievable to me, all by myself, and sort of like patted myself on the back for like being so, able to do it all on my own, which was not a great thing because I still am reaping the non-benefits of the burnout of all of that. But I have gotten way better through a lot of therapy of being able to converse with the critic, recognize it also in people around me too, because I can tend to feel myself getting triggered when I can see someone else's sort of inner critic like taking over. I mean, it's really just like a constant work in practice of like when it comes up having a conversation of being like, these thoughts these aren't true. Like you're just saying the craziest things to try and like put yourself in this loop. But I do think that the Venus part of me maybe help. Like I love beautiful things. One of my favorite feelings other than like laughter is awe. Like I love when things just take me away. I love art in all forms. I love when people are putting their art out there. I love like the human experience of vulnerability that comes with putting your art out there. I just find it beautiful. I mean, people have called me like a cheerleader through most of my life because I love watching people's art. I think it's so cool that people decide to do that, and everyone is so interesting and complex and nuanced. And so I do think that when I connect more to like finding the beauty even in like the imperfect things, it helps counterbalance the inner critic. But the inner critic is big bitch for me a lot. Yeah, I have to really catch myself about perfectionism. Yeah. Even though I've made this like brand for myself that's very messy, that I love very much and feels very authentic. It's a very kind of contradictory thing sometimes.
Yes, and it also, and I mean, it's tea because we're going to get into it in a second, but your Virgo placements are also opposite your moon in Pisces. And we're going to really go into that Pisces moon because you're looking at another Pisces moon. So Pisces moon to Pisces moon, we're just going to cry it out.
Exactly.
Yeah. But like the Pisces piece, as we'll get into, is like loves the messiness and the beauty and the sort of like the humanness of life and like finds so much value in recognizing that people are so flawed and that they still need love even in their flaws. And it's not that Virgo denies that, but Virgo wants to understand and be understood, like as sort of a statement. So part of the perfectionism for Virgo placements is like, am I being clear? Am I making this as clear and as direct as I want it to be?
Directness has become a very important thing to me in my adult life. I feel like as a people pleaser for most of my life, I was very indirect about the way that I communicated with people. And now, like, we'll probably talk about it. I went through a big breast cancer treatment thing, and I think post that I was it like broke me in a way of like, I need direct communication, clear lines of communication. Like you're saying, like I want people to understand exactly what I mean or exactly what I'm asking, or I want to understand what they are saying in a more clear and direct way. And only in the last like 2 years has that become like very much a priority for me.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, your Mercury is with your sun in Libra, which makes sense that it's been sort of like, well, you tell me what you like.
Yeah.
Like, I'm okay either way. Like, what do you want?
Exactly.
I always joke that like with Libra placements, you can ask if you want to know how they are, you're never going to find out because they're just going to ask you how you are, and then they're going to recalibrate to that.
Learning to try to understand how I'm feeling at any moment has been the ongoing task for me as an adult. That I've even asked my therapist in therapy in the beginning of like, how do you know how you feel? Like I was so disconnected from like an inner dialogue with myself of understanding like, how do I feel? Because it was so dependent on the way everyone else in a situation with me felt. Like I was like, I'm going to go with the flow of whatever the consensus is.
You know, it doesn't help that you are a channeler and that you're psychic.
Oh,
Okay, so let's get into the Pisces moon of it all.
Okay.
Fellow Pisces moon, I also want to share with you that finding out that I was a Pisces moon, like that was my gateway into astrology.
Really?
Yes, because I'm a Leo sun, obviously, the hat.
Boom.
Done. But certainly not the full picture of like what my reality is.
Yeah.
And even though there's so many Leo things that I obviously relate to,
Yes.
once again, the hat, I found myself when I was younger sort of being like, yeah, but that's just like it doesn't quite qualify or explain the full picture of what my experience is, and even like the Leo bits that were about sort of like needing the spotlight and wanting it. Like, sure, we love it, but not at the sacrifice of anyone else.
Yeah.
And like that never felt like it was depicted in the Leo energy. So I was like, well, then how does that fit in? Pisces moon was the huge unlock. I don't think I would be doing, and it's tank, there are no coincidences. Like I wouldn't be doing astrology if I wasn't a Pisces moon and if I hadn't found that out. But also maybe I'm doing astrology because I'm a Pisces moon. So like chicken and egg, forever.
Yep.
For you, I'm wondering, with all Pisces moon placements, we know that somebody is intuitive. Let's start with intuition and work our way up.
Yeah.
So what does your intuition feel like for you?
It's really hard to put into words. It's definitely like I will have intuition about people when I think I'm usually pretty critical of myself of not complimenting myself in lots of ways, but I do think I'm a really great judge of character of people. And I think I can tell when someone's being authentic and when they're not. And especially now in the kind of rise of con artistry in our social media and real lived experiences, I think I've become more attuned to that. I think I've become more attuned to bullshit, period. And my intuition, I don't even know how to articulate it other than just like a sense feeling of like something's off about that person or something is very warm about that person. And yeah, intuition is probably something I should hone more. I've been told by other psychics and tarot readers that like myself and my mother are very like connected to the spirits and the angels.
Well, once again, it's a tank because the next thing that I want to talk to you about is the fact that when something needs you to pay attention to it, it shows up in all ways in a chart. It shows up like across the board, right? It's just like loud in all of these different iterations.
Yeah.
So you're a Pisces moon, which is, we'll call it intuitive. Now let's take it one step further, psychic. Then you also have your sun and Mercury in the 12th house, which is the final frontier of a chart. It is the last domain. It is literally the domain between worlds, which means it's the spirit world. And that's where your sun, which is your identity, and Mercury, your communication is.
Yeah.
So it's another hit of, hey, guess what? The baby, that's you, is psychic. It's a psychic baby.
Love that.
Yes. It's Tyler Henry.
Yes.
A true psychic baby. Yes. What does that feel like for you?
I definitely feel the presence of ghosts if we're talking like in that world.
Oh, please
share.
share.
There is for sure ghosts in my house. We have lights that go on and off. I constantly feel like I am seeing someone like on my peripheral on the sides. And I think it's always like my hair in my way, but often my hair will be back. And so I will be in my house
Spooky.
and I often feel like someone is like walking past me. Like I always think it's my husband and it's not. And then there's no one there. The animals that we've had in our house have barked or looked in different directions that have sort of to me been like, they're seeing or communicating with something that we are not seeing in this space right now. So that has always felt a little present. I've always been very scared of ghosts growing up, like very scared. I remember I had this like reoccurring nightmare of seeing like a man's face in my window outside when I was younger, and I would just like hide under my blanket because it felt so real to me and I couldn't understand it. But it again has been something that I'm like, I always wonder if I just like took the time to really cultivate this, how powerful could I become?
Well, very, yes.
Okay.
And also like your chart wants you to. So have you had communication?
With the other side?
Yes.
Not that, well, in terms of I've done like fun little event things or like I've gone to like a haunted Victorian actual tea party before that was all kind of like more entertainment than total seriousness. But I have not really like. That's the thing is that now that I'm becoming more of an adult, I'm less scared of ghosts, I think, than I used to be. So I was raised Catholic for a little bit. I was Catholic, and they would say you have to say like the Our Father every night. When I remember my grandfather had passed, and I was probably in like, I don't know, 4th or 5th grade, and I would pray every night that he would not show up to me because I was so scared of seeing ghosts that I would pray that wherever he is, because he would always joke around and like prank me when he was alive, and so I was like, I know he's gonna like do something to me.
Yeah, and you're like, I can't handle it.
I literally can't. I'm too scared, and now I feel like I'm maybe at an age where I'm a lot less scared. And what would happen if I actually tried to reach out? I don't know.
I also believe that anybody can do it.
Yeah.
Because I think that being psychic is not that weird. I think it's just super senses, you know?
I really do. I agree. I think it's truly just being connected to yourself, listening to yourself in a way. I feel like I've been on this path of learning to listen to myself and also learning to talk to myself, like for the first time, and listen. And I think that's such a skill set that people that are really in tune with their own energy and the way they are connected to the world, I feel like have that intuition or that sense of connection with whatever's on whatever side.
You got to freak yourself out.
You really do, actually.
Yes.
You do have to shake it up a little bit.
You got to shake it up.
Like, take yourself by your cosmic shoulders and just shake it out.
Take those cosmic shoulders and give them a shake, honey. That's it. Speaking of, actually, I mean, we're just like flowing from question to question effortlessly.
Look at us go.
Look at us. Look at us, gals. The next thing I wanted to talk to you about, which, you know, if you didn't know about Venus and Mars, this is going to really rock your world, honey. Okay. So this is a Uranus-Chiron opposition that you have in your chart.
Yeah.
It's at 14 degrees. Uranus is at 14 Sagittarius. And your Chiron is at 14 degrees Gemini. So it's exact.
Yeah.
So Uranus is the planet of revolution and shock and awe and keeping us on our toes and radicalizing us and like rebelling against ourselves and rebelling against the world and like really spicing it up.
Yeah.
Okay? We love it.
Yeah.
It's also like a little violent and destructive from time to time, but like that's okay. That's okay. We can handle it. Chiron is a comet that's associated with our deepest wounds, our pain. Pain that is both acute as a direct response to things in our life that happen, and also pain that is like karmic, pain that is just like sort of ineffable, where we're like, I don't even know why I came into this world with this wound.
Yeah.
But it was, you know, it's like I'm carrying this. We're thinking about like generational trauma. We're thinking about ancestral lineage. We're thinking about the fact that like we're also like dropped off here, you know? Yeah. So you having this Uranus and Chiron direct opposition is super cool. I see a lot of astrologers have Saturn Chiron oppositions because Saturn is about like responsibilities and time. So they're trying to create structure around their wounds. You having Uranus Chiron is about you like you revolutionizing your wounds. You doing things that are like really freaky deaky. Freaky deaky to like spice it up, create new stories around the pain in your life.
Yeah.
So I'm curious like how that resonates, what that feels like for you. What does it feel like to turn your pain into art, to make it weird, to freak it out, to freak us out, like bring us there.
Yeah. I feel like I was born lonely. And that I've only in my adult life have learned that my dad has probably been clinically depressed his whole life and has never gotten any help at all and just sort of like white knuckled through it, which is very much the Helbig way of just white knuckling through it. And so I always felt this like deep well of kind of like sadness when I was young and very like isolated. I didn't have a lot of friends and I was very shy and scared to make friends, but I had this like very robust inner world of dialogue and introspection and observation. And so I feel like when the internet sort of brought itself into our lives and YouTube sort of came out as this platform, it was like this antidote almost for a lonely, you know, young person to be able to connect with people and express themselves artistically from the comfort of their bedroom. It was like this miracle of miracles had presented itself to me, of this like perfect medium to both like connect with an outside world and experiment artistically. And so without even consciously knowing that that was what really drew me to YouTube in the first place, I think in reflection, I've been like, well, duh. Yeah, this like lonely little weirdo wanted a place to make friends, and YouTube was like, hi, you can upload your stuff for free. And also like, eventually we'll pay you. It was like, boom, there we go. And I think a lot of the feedback I've gotten from people that have watched the videos over the years, who were themselves even younger people watching them, probably most of them tell me now that they were, 13, 14, 15 in middle school or high school, resonated with the kind of, I never really was like advertising, hi, I'm a lonely girl. There was Lonely Girl, 15, who was doing YouTube videos, but I wasn't calling myself out like that. But I think there was an undercurrent of like, this sweet weirdo is trying to make connection with me, and she's here 5 days a week making these videos.
5 days a week?
Yeah, for years I was making 5 videos a week, Monday through Friday, under Daily Grace, but it was the best job I'd ever had, so it wasn't even work to me. It was this amazing privilege of opportunity that I got that no one I knew was doing.
And what year was this?
Like 2008, 2009, when I first started, and I got hired by a website called My Damn Channel to make Daily Grace, and it was almost something I kept secret because like I didn't want it to go away. I was so worried about this thing that seemed too good to be true being taken away in some capacity, and instead it did the opposite. It just like grew more and more. And I think there was sort of in the beginning of YouTube it was like it attracted a lot of misfits, and I mean this in the most respectful way to all of my like fellow collaborators and creators out there at that time, that people that just were kind of on the outer rims of whatever they were interested in, but were very passionate about whatever it was, and that just sort of like everyone sort of gathered in this space and shared this camaraderie over just feeling finally able to communicate the things that you love with each other. And so I feel like that my whole YouTube trajectory could be considered taking all of my like loneliness and turning it into art. And then obviously I got breast cancer and I put that online, and that created this whole new sense of connection with an audience that felt very authentic versus like comedy driven versus like doing bits and shtick. And then I've been touring a live solo show, a one-woman show that kind of talks about the journey of being a longtime content creator and getting breast cancer at a time that I felt very unsure of who I was in the world. And it's been really therapeutic, selfishly, to be able to do this show over and over and sort of process all of the feelings that have been associated with it, and to like alchemize a time that was objectively shitty into something that was silly and fun and palatable and with depth still, without disregarding the seriousness of the situation. I think one of the sort of philosophies in life I have is trying to find the silliness in every situation, because it underscores everything in the universe. The fact that we have no idea what happens after what happens here is so silly, and we all continue on with our days every day without anyone objectively knowing what happens next is so silly. So if you're not looking for the absurdity and the humor, I think you're missing a huge part of life. And I think that's really been how I translate painful things into art.
What I love about what you shared also is another important piece, to bring it back to the astrology of it, is that Uranus is also technology. And it's like radical, new, innovative technology.
Yeah.
And hearing your story, and I remember when we first connected, it was actually sort of when you were in this sort of like between space of having sort of taking a step back from YouTube in the way that you had been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
And then you also returned while you were also addressing this like massive health crisis that you were having.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an interesting karmic beautiful, magical thing too, to be like, I'm burnt out and I don't know who I am on this platform anymore. And if I'm getting that wrong, obviously correct
No, that's
me.
100% correct.
And then something so human happens to you and you're like, I'm back.
Yeah, it's so weird to say this, but I often say that like the breast cancer happened divine timing, like at a moment in my life when I was finishing my graduate program and I had no idea what was happening next. So schedule was wide open. I loved the education that I had gotten, but I didn't know how to fully integrate it into my life. And so I was still very confused about who I was in the world. It was so clearly defined. When you create a personal brand, it's by default defined of like who you are. And it was really a matter of sort of like unmasking myself and separating myself from that brand to figure out like what parts of me are me and what parts are like commercialized to like be able to monetize stuff on the internet. And the breast cancer really just said, here's you, bitch. You're in your body. Here's your body that you probably haven't felt connected to for most of your life. And here is who you are, the human. This is one of the most human things, sickness that can happen to you. So you are not an avatar. You are not an internet brand. You are Grace Helbig and you have breast cancer. And that was weirdly so helpful, like a lesson that was learned the hard way, but was learned very deeply and resonantly. And I feel like it really kind of shook me into myself and really gave me some grounding that I don't think I had before in a very bizarre way.
You know, now more and more we hear about people's journeys, their health journeys, but as the daughter of a mother who has had breast cancer recurringly, at least when she was diagnosed in 2000, her approach, and it wasn't abnormal to keep it a secret.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was like the C word, right? People didn't talk about it.
Yeah.
It was also like just, you know, pretend it's not happening and nobody wants to hear about it and it like makes people uncomfortable. Like that was the vernacular around it. And I remember as a kid, obviously metabolizing that, part of why I have PCOS, I think. And like figuring out, you know, like what does this mean? Am I not allowed to talk about it? I wasn't allowed to talk about it. But you talking about it also helping to introduce people to what this process is like, how you were diagnosed, what your journey has been, what your recovery is, how you move beyond it, how you still maintain selfhood and creativity through it. Like incredibly inspiring.
Thank you.
Incredibly powerful. And also very revolutionary. Even still, in being able to bring new awareness to this and also incorporate your creativity.
Yeah.
You know, so it doesn't just need to be a clinical thing.
Yeah, and cancer is so different for everyone.
Sure.
And you can have the same breast cancer diagnosis and have two completely different experiences through your treatment process. And I, again, maybe the Libra, just wanted everyone to be comfortable. Like I wanted everyone to be okay and to not worry about me. And the easiest way to do that was to just show them everything that was happening with me. And it really just kind of helped me by default adopt an attitude that was positive and was like supportive of myself through the process. The nurses would often comment like, your attitude is amazing and we wish we could teach other patients how important it is to find comedy, to have lightness, to be to find some sense of positivity, because it does affect the treatment process for people. And I didn't know how to be different about it. I think it was still that people-pleasing thing of just wanting to make people laugh still and wanting to be silly, but it also just helped me take the seriousness out of the situation, which can be very overwhelming. I didn't realize, obviously, because I didn't have any family history or anything, so the whole world of like breast cancer sort of got revealed to me as soon as I got diagnosed, and I had no idea how obviously so many people are affected either personally or indirectly by cancer diagnoses. And so it just became almost like a mission then to create content so that people could have hubs of information as well. Comments of, you know, tips, tricks, look at this, here's articles about this, became something that I could feel like, oh, I'm like doing something good still while I have to do this. And so it was very symbiotic, I think, of making the content and feeling like I was sharing something and demystifying something that a lot of people didn't know about, and also being able to create a space where everyone could share their own personal experiences with it.
Yeah, yeah. And it's not dissimilar from what you were doing in 2008, right?
Yeah.
Like creating a space for lonely little weirdos who are still there. Those are our people.
Yes.
I mean, like, those are my babies.
The parasocial works two ways.
Yes, it does.
It really does.
It does. I mean, knowing that there's other like astrology freakies out there who love like spooky things and going deep and are critical thinkers and like hold all of these multiple truths at the same time, like knowing that I'm not alone in that has been so healing for me.
Amazing.
But it is cool that you are also like bringing people into these experiences through your vulnerability where you can say you're not alone.
Yes.
And that's like also the Libra doing the beautiful things that Libra does, which is like, you're not alone.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like the core of my content is that I like to make things that still have heart to them and that really do try to remind someone that they're not alone.
So something I want to share with you is that right now, literally like today, which is tank and wild, Jupiter, which is the planet of expansion, is sitting on your midheaven, which is incredibly lucky.
Oh.
And your midheaven is your legacy, your reputation, how you're going to be remembered. Wow. It has this, and it is. It's like, whoa, okay, big deal. It is big deal.
Yeah.
And it only happens every 12 years.
Damn.
So think back to what was going on in your life 12 years ago, which would have been mathematicians here.
2014.
That's it.
Yeah. Damn. A lot was going on in my life in 2014. I'd honestly have to Google it to remember everything. That's the thing about those years of content creation is that my memories are blurry and they are few and far between. That it's like, on one hand, thank God things were documented so that there is some physical proof that things have happened. An
archive, yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, that was probably the peak of YouTube, 2014.
Wow.
Yeah, I had just started my new channel because I had to move away from my damn channel for business reasons, and it kind of spearheaded this whole my story about being like an independent creator and moving from a channel that had millions of followers to my own channel, and it became sort of like the
lore.
I became like a spokesperson for the modern day content creator at the time, so much so that I hosted the YouTube like brand upfronts and told the whole story of going from working at Olive Garden to now like standing here in front of all of you today. And it was crazy. It was impossible to really understand the scope of it at the time. So blurry, but yeah, a chaotic time period.
So, and that was a 2014?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So that's where you are here right now.
What does that mean?
Let's pull another card and see.
Okay.
Ooh, I got two.
Okay.
Okay, so we got Queen of Wands.
Ooh.
And we got Knight of Cups.
Ooh.
So Queen of Wands is a bad bitch.
Hell yeah.
who has complete creative control, who is in charge of her domain. It's also Leo energy.
Cool.
Fire energy broadly, but like I'm mentioning Leo particularly because Jupiter is about to move into Leo.
Okay.
We also are about to have eclipses in Leo. So just like timing wise, this could signal to me that July, August might be a very exciting, big time for you.
Ooh.
Professionally, creatively, and even in like the legacy part of you building a big story through time. And then Knight of Cups is really about like learning how to work with your feelings, your intuition, the vibes, the sensitivities, the vulnerabilities, and marrying both of those, like being a very bad bitch and being like really on top of your shit and knowing that like you have a whole kingdom, right? Like you are in control through your art, but also like I'm vulnerable and that actually gives me the power to be able to create this world for myself. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Interesting.
Like, don't fuck with me for multiple reasons. Like, don't fuck with me because I'm your boss, and also don't fuck with me because I'm like a sensitive person.
Yeah, I was just listening to the song Power by Little Mix on the way over here, and literally was kind of mulling over the idea of like what it feels like or means to step into one's power without being an asshole.
Yes. Oh my God. Well,
On the way over here.
That's literally exactly it.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. It's stepping into your power without being an asshole.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, but like really owning it and being like, unapologetic.
Yeah.
And being like, this is what I want, this is what I need to do. And immediately also like knowing also how like you are on the cutting edge of things and how your creativity is such a driving force for you. Mm-hmm. I also am curious like what new creative undertakings this is going to look like.
Yeah. Interesting.
I think it's going to be tea.
I hope it's tea.
Grace, thank you so much for being here. Where
Thank
can
you
we
for
find
having
you
me.
right now? What are you most excited about?
Absolutely. You can find me at Grace Helbig on all social media platforms. I'm uploading YouTube videos, but like loosey-goosey, fun and free.
Look at her go.
Yeah. And then I do a comedy podcast with Mamrie Hart called This Might Get Weird every Wednesday, and that's on YouTube and also wherever you get your podcasts.
Amazing. Grace, thank you so much.
Thank you for having
Thanks for having
me.
tea.